Man, do we got some news today. Man, oh man. I changed it, man. We go find my Facebook. My Facebook friends losing their minds on. Here we go. It's that. Go live. Let me share it out on the page. Boom, boom. Hey, friend anniversary to Sister Pat. Good morning, everybody. Today, we're going to talk about Assange, secret societies, and Julian Assange. They arrested him. Listen, I'm gonna tell you, I like what Julian did. I like what he did. I think he is probably one of the only heroes today. And I guess there's another opposing side that Assange is a bad guy. He's CIA. I find it funny. I don't know. Maybe I'm CIA. I don't know. But that was the whole thing. He's controlled opposition. And I don't care. I actually don't care. Why? They're dropping buildings on children. He promoted information to the public that showed they're using helicopters to shoot innocent people and started the only anti-war movement in the last 40 years. Tell me how he's a bad guy. Somebody tell me. Maybe I got him on the wrong side of the bed today. I'm confused. No sound. Who's that? Bofon? You don't have no sound? I got sound. So we're going to talk about secrets and secret societies today. Those people who wear hoods. Can you tell who are the bad guys and who are the good guys? Can you tell who's fighting the deep state? I got a question. I'm getting excited, but hold on. I gotta bring you comments. How can you tell who's fighting the deep state? We're gonna do some basic stuff here. So if there is a group of organizations called the deep state, that's why I spit all on the screen when I said that. The deep state. How will you know who is actually fighting the deep state? Because the whole deep, that word is key to knowing who's actually fighting the deep state. So anyway, how y'all doing this morning? Talking about Assange. They done arrested him. Police done went there. UK police went around every war criminal in London. They just drove all around. It's like, oh, we're not gonna get none of the war criminals. We just gonna keep driving until we get Assange. But you know what? I'm not mad at the UK necessarily. Washington, they would have to drive around 100 war criminals to actually get to Assange. Hold on. I get upset. I got attacked by my friends this morning. I can't type. Drink coffee and talk about the deep state at the same time. Give me a minute. Hold on. I got to put in my password. If I get my password, I can ask the CIA because they got it. The NSA, they got all my passwords. They got all of them. And that was another thing Julian Assange told us about this CIA operative reporting on the CIA. So I'm curious. There we go. YouTube comments are in. I want somebody to tell me. Maybe I missed the email. I don't know everything, y'all. Y'all know that. Y'all like to fuss with me all the time. I don't know everything. I just want to know, why am I not supposed to like Assange? Somebody please tell me that I missed the email. All right, we're going to shift the music. Hold on. Shift the music. Turn it down. You can hear me. I still got that echo. Because I'm in a new studio. I still haven't got this thing set up. Somebody explain to me, why am I not supposed to like Assange? Somebody tell me, what did I miss? Ooh, is that the wrong one? I hit the wrong button. That's the wrong music. There we go. All right. Comments. Now, so this is how the morning went. Here's how the morning went. I woke up and the news popped up. I try to avoid the news early because I don't like this world. I don't know if you picked that up from me. I think I'm trapped here. I'm supposed to learn something. I haven't learned it yet, so I'm still here. And I got a pop-up. It said, Julian Assange arrested by the UK police. Ecuadorian folks turned him in. They finally got their guns or that loan money they were looking for from the murderous killers. And so that upsets me. It upsets me. Why? Because I like Brother Assange. I think he did good things. I'm going to change my background in a minute, but I'm going to ask y'all a question. How do you know who's fighting the deep state? You know, because we can be critics. It's very easy to criticize, especially me. From my privileged United States, I'm not being bombed on privilege perspective. I can use my non-bomb privilege supremacy to chastise Julian Assange, talking about people bombing babies and dropping them under buildings of rubble. A man who started a movement of people who now actually give a damn to look at Yemen, the people who are actually, instead of putting people in ovens, they're dropping ovens on people called AMRAAM missiles from drones. How is he a bad guy? Somebody explain it to me, because I'm not getting it. Did I miss an email? Did I miss an email that Julian Assange is a bad guy? Did I miss an email that the guys in the hoods are good guys? So let me ask you this. Here's the answer to the question the way I see it. How do I know who's fighting the deep state? Anybody shallowing the waters. That's it. Why? Because the state part you can't touch. They got police state, they got the FBI and CIA and MI6, and they got all them. You can't fight the state. Oh, wait, you can't do nothing with that. But you can fight the deep part. How do you fight the deep part? And who do you know is fighting the deep part? There's a place called Wikileaks. Truth, transparency, releasing information, and all information released is a good thing. Why? Because 7 billion people around this planet that have bad information all will make bad decisions. Why? Because the information controllers and gatekeepers, people who don't have the details and the facts, will always make bad decisions. That's just a fact, because you don't know all the details. So if Julian Assange and Wikileaks are great proponents of a time on Earth when there are no secrets, somebody explain to me why he's a bad guy. Somebody explain to me why the good things he did I shouldn't cheer. Why I should be happy that he's arrested. I'm not happy. I'm upset. Somebody tell me. I'm gonna look at the comments today, because I'm gonna sit back, because I posted something and people they begin to just challenge me, come at me. Julian Assange's deep state. And I'm like, wait a minute. He released information to fight the deep state, but he's CIA. Is the CIA bad? Maybe I asked the question that way. Is the CIA bad? Are they? Or is the CIA a decompartmentalized organization that's based on a model of decompartmentalization? A rogue institution based on creating departments on initiatives that create rogue institutions. Which one is it? Are there any good people in the CIA anywhere? Well, the CIA gave them money. Oh, did they? You know what? Listen, I'm gonna be honest with you, because sometimes I don't get y'all. I love y'all to death, but I don't get y'all. If the CIA knocked on my door right now, hey, Mr. Black Man. Mr. Black Man, we got some money for you. You got some money for me? You got $1 million for me? Oh, you do? You would say, Gerard is deep state. You know why? Because I'm taking that money. I'm taking every last dime. Now, mind you, it's blood money. I don't want your health insurance. I don't want your blood-drenched health insurance. I don't want your blood money, gifts and services and walls and all of that mess that you pay for on blood money. But damn it, you knock on my door, give me $1 million, CIA. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna say thank you. I'm gonna take that check. Why I'm gonna take the check? And then I'm gonna buy Band-Aids for the people who are bleeding. Okay? All right, so that's where I'm going with that. All right, deep state ceiling was pushed by JA. Those who don't know that are the problem. The deep state ceiling was pushed by Julian Assange. The deep state ceiling, explain that to me, Brother Jack. I mean, it sounds like a good thing. I think that's what he did. I think that he took on the deep state because he shallowed the waters by releasing more information and bringing more transparency. Now, is he releasing it selectively? I don't know, and I don't actually care. More information in the public domain is a great thing, always a great thing. So the deep state ceiling was pushed by Julian Assange. Those who don't know that are the problem. Yeah, Brother Jack, and I think we're all the problem, but I think Julian Assange did a great thing. I think he did a great thing, and I think that we need to stop playing. We got to stop playing tiddlywinks, because you know what? Here's a problem. If the anti-war people are fighting with the anti-war people, I'd say it a different way. If the anti-war people are warring with the anti-war people, does peace win? Think about that. Process that for a minute. If the anti-war people are warring with the anti-war people, only war wins. Why in the hell would you do that? Cannot the enemy of the enemy be your friend? Maybe you don't like Assange. I don't know, for whatever reason. I don't get it. But the brother released information. He's the reason you know that your television has the off mode. Like, did you know that? In the CIA, was it Vault 7 document released that your television, when you press the power button, it actually doesn't have to go off. It just turns the mic on. It goes to a black screen, but your TV is still on. It's recording you while you're sleeping, making a good love to your wife or your hubby, recording everything. Tell me how that's bad. Like, give me an example. I don't see y'all. Where is it? Let me see. I know somebody gonna say it. Somebody gonna say it. They say that Trump is fighting the deep state. I'm not seeing it. They said Obama was fighting the deep state. I'm not really seeing it. But listen, I think most things we find out 10 years later. But I know one thing for sure. Assange fought the deep state because he put more truthful information in the public domain. And that's empirical, that's factual. You cannot take that away at all from him. So the fact that they dragged him out of that embassy is horrible. People around the world should be in outrage. As Chris Hedges put it, that Assange started the anti-war movement. There was no anti-war movement. He started anti-war movements on every continent in the Western world, bombing all the poor people in the third world. So how is that a bad thing? Somebody tell me. Maybe somebody's fighting better than he is. Somebody, I want to see it. I know he's fighting better than I am. I know he's doing the thing. They put Manning back in the prison too. Yes, Lord, they put Manning back in the prison. And what did Manning say? Manning said that he's not going to turn on she is not going to turn on. That's why they put her back in, because she is not going to turn on. That to me is called integrity. How many of y'all willing to go to prison for your friend? Or not even your friend. How many of y'all willing to go to prison for somebody who's an anti-war activist? You know, he's a hero. Yes, he is. Somebody just posted that. To me, he's a hero. To me, he's one of the only reasons I have a little bit of a voice. I have people hanging out with me because we're anti-war people. We don't think you should murder children. We think all children, well, I think, most of y'all think, all children are God's children. You ain't supposed to murder none of them. They were all brought here for a reason, and you killing them is a bad idea. And that's all I see. I see people who are promoting war, people who are promoting bombing children and blowing up nations and stealing their resources, people who support them, and people who don't. That's it. That's it. That's what I'm saying. I don't play politics. I don't play politics. I don't play left. I don't play right. I don't play this is a good war. That's a good, but that's war. That's bad-ish. No, if you're murdering people, you're bad. End of story. Period. We can't even talk about politics until you stop murdering people. I'm changing my background. And I'm not going to get upset. I don't get it. I don't understand. Why would anybody say Julian Assange is CIA? I don't get it. Like, look at this picture here. Here's the picture of them arresting him. Let me move my big head out the way. This is the picture of him arresting. Can you spot the bad guys? Is anybody having trouble spotting the bad guy? Well, okay, let's take it back. That's that. Assange Guru. There are no bad guys. Can you spot, because that's why I changed the name of the title. Let's play Spot the Guys Doing Bad. There are no bad guys. There are no good guys. But there are bad activity and there's good activity. This is why I'm saying don't play identity politics when it comes to anti-war. Like, our biggest problem in the United States right now, you know why there is no United States federal government? Because all of these fools are lost in identity. They're cheering and hating identity. It's called identity politics. It completely removed all the power of all the citizens, and so the federal government is 100% rogue. It's a 100% oligarchy being controlled by big banks, corporations, and foreign interests because they play identity politics. They pick and choose their heroes. Look at people's actions, not their words, not their faces, not their political parties, their actions. Julian Assange acted. So don't get lost in identity politics is my point. There are good things and bad things. I don't care if it's Trump. They say something good. I post quotes by Trump. I post quotes by Sister Teresa. I'll post a quote by Bernie Sanders. I'll post a quote by anybody. Ex-UK Prime Minister Tony Blair. Truth is truth. False is false. If it came out of the Quran, that doesn't mean it's not true. If it's true, it's true. If it came out of the Bible, that doesn't mean it's not true. If it's true, it's true. Stop looking at the identity. We don't have time to play conspiracy identity, people. Like, this is war. Yes, the world is a stage. The sister said, the world is a stage. I agree with you. I absolutely agree with you. But I'm not going to let it play me like I believe the stage, right? Like, I look at what I see on the stage. I understand that children are being murdered on that stage. I understand that that stage is real, though. That the world is a stage, but they are literally sacrificing babies on that stage. And so I'm not going to get lost in the characterization and the characters and identities. What I'm going to do is I'm going to sit back and figure out how to end the skit. I'm going to sit back and figure out how to sabotage the play. So you got to watch the screen and watch what's going on, but understand real people are dying in this play. And so the fight is against principalities and powers. It's not against identities and groups. You play identity and group game, you're going to lose every single time. The fight is always against principalities and powers. If you are against war, I don't care if you're Assange, I don't care if you're Tupac, I don't care if you're Jethro, I don't care if you're Redneck. I was coming into the plantation today, I was behind a brother with a big old Dixie flag on the truck. Big old Dixie flag, and I felt a certain kind of way. I was driving, I said, oh Lord. I saw this big old truck come around the corner, dark tinted windows, got a big old Dixie flag on the back. And I sat there and I felt a certain way. Why do I feel a certain way? Because I live in a country full of idiots. That's why. I love them to death. But these people, they even get in my head a little bit. And I had to bring back up in my body and my mind truthful thought, because I'm surrounded by these morons, these loving people that just don't seem to get it. Did I say that? I'm not gonna say that. I said, you know what, this brother, he doesn't have to have that on his truck because he hates me. He probably has that on that truck because he hates the federal government. He knew that slavery was gonna end, whether it was the North or the South. Maybe he's just one of these constitutionalist Bill of Rights brothers, you know, and it said redneck on the truck, you know. It's like but after I brought that feeling back up, I thought about Daisy Dukes and the Dixie flag and the General Lee, then I felt good again. The whole point is this, is that if that brother is anti-war, why do I have an issue with what he did? Why do I have an issue with his flag? Why do I have an issue with anything else? Why do I care? You know, it's like Martin Luther King. I post quotes by him all the time. They're like, oh, he's a womanizer. Why do I care? Why do I care? Martin Luther King did some amazing things and moved things forward, like Julian Assange did. I post some stuff by Gandhi, like, oh, he slept with little girls. Yeah, okay, damn it, everybody's got their problems. Hopefully he didn't touch him. It was something that he did. I don't understand it. I'm not gonna claim to, and I don't care. What I understand is he moved things forward. Oh, you listening to the Jackson 5 and Michael Jackson. Yeah, damn it, I am. You know why? Because he made people happy. He sung that song about black and white, sung We Are the World, did wonderful things. We gotta stop getting hung up on these identities and this crazy stuff. There's things you're not gonna like about Assange. He probably doesn't wear the deodorant I like. Does that mean that I gotta have issue with him? All right, I know I'm ranting. All right. I'm done. I'm reading the comments. People, if we can't spot the people doing good things and the people doing bad things and cheer the good things and detest and protest the bad things, we ain't gonna make it. We literally aren't gonna make it. All right, let me do comments. That's how I woke up this morning. Oh, it's Deborah's birthday. Happy birthday, Deborah. Happy birthday. Happy birthday. On a rough day. Rough day. I'm sorry. It's a rough day. But it's a good day. It's a good day. It's a rough day. But I am kind of relieved though that he's arrested. I'll tell you this, I am a little relieved because I think this thing needs to play out. I don't like the fact that the brother was locked in there, and now this might actually do something. Now we can have this conversation. Now we can bring it back to light, all the powerful, awesome, amazing things that WikiLeaks did. Now we can talk about how there need to be more WikiLeaks. There don't need to be less. We need more people promoting the truth. We need more of an outlet for whistleblowers, because that's what the man did. But he's CIA, damn it. He made a platform to allow whistleblowers to get information to other humans because they are humanitarian and they're in these agencies that are doing things they're not supposed to do to humans. All right. I know, I said I was gonna stop. I think every now there's some good people in the CIA, y'all. They probably, then certain things happen like, oh, you know, Gerard gonna run off today. We're gonna put some cannabis in his coffee and then add a little extra caffeine in here. I'm flipping out today. I just don't understand it. Let me see. The deep state is dependent on ambiguity. Cutting through the ambiguity is its threat to its owners and the major players. Thank you, Brother Beaufont. You always come with the facts and the truth, and you can see clearly. Like, let me go back to this. I'm gonna go back to this other picture because I want to talk about exactly what he said, and that's the whole point. That's the whole damn point. You gotta be focused on. Don't lose sight. Why do secret societies wear hoods? That's the question. Why do secret societies wear hoods? Because they want to hide their identity. They want to stay deep. They are doing nefarious things that they don't want the dummies being farmed to know, the people they're abusing. For the same reason, governments have classified documents and top secret information. The reason they got Vault 7s, the reason that your computers are always hacked, the holes that they carved in the back. They hide that information because they're abusing you. They're not on your side. And anybody who approaches revealing that information or their identities is doing good. That's exactly what Beaufont's saying, and he's spot on. All right, there we go. Did you see Snowden said, we have lost our rights to humans? Did you see Snowden said we have lost our rights to humans? I know Snowden made a comment, Brother Daniel. Let me see if I can find that. I know that I got a pop-up, and I know he made a statement after it. And so now, if you don't like Assange, I guess you don't like Snowden, which means I guess you don't like Manning, which I guess they're all together in this evil scheme to start anti-war and end secrecy for some deep state project by the CIA that we're somehow being played by. Explain, how are we being played by that? I'm confused. All right, let me see if I can find. Let me see. Snowden. I know Snowden said something. Was it just a statement, or did he do some sort of interview? And it's Julian. Snowden. He's another hero. He is another hero. He did something heroic. Maybe that's the right word. Maybe we shouldn't call people heroes. We'll say heroic. He did heroic things. Now, can Snowden be co-opted? Hell yes. Can Assange be co-opted? Hell yes. How do I know? Because the people who run these societies murder US presidents. That's how I know. So anything that gets a blind following will get co-opted. And so I do get the people who are skeptics, because you're always supposed to be a skeptic. I get the people who don't trust Assange, because you're not supposed to. You're not supposed to trust anybody. You're an adult. You're supposed to know how all this works. But just because you cheer the brother doesn't mean that you trust the brother. You cheer what he did. You can do that without worshiping him. All right. Let me see. Snowden tweets dark moments for the press. Okay, yeah, he did say something. Ooh, what? Ooh, I don't know. I just like might be Associated Press, Daniel. I'm not sure if I want to play this. I don't like giving airtime to criminals and war criminal organizations. And I think the Associated Press might be one of them. But I'm gonna click on it for today's sake, because Brother Assange, I owe this to him. I absolutely owe my morning to him, because this man is standing up for children all over the planet, promoting things that are true and anti-war. All right, y'all see that? I'm not sure. It's a little too big. Here we go. Let me see. Images of Ecuador's embassy inviting the UK secret police into the embassy to drag a publisher of, like it or not, award-winning journalists out of the building are going to end up in the history books. Assange's critics may cheer, but this is a dark moment for press freedom. Amen, brother. Absolutely. It's a very dark day. It's a very dark moment. I don't know why anybody would cheer this. I don't understand it. I don't get it. What side are you on? What planet do you live on? Because you know what's going to happen now? We lost probably 90-some% of the press. I can't stand 90-some% of the press because they're pro-war and they're willing to let people die for a paycheck. They're not journalists, they're not giving news. They're being told what to say and they're saying it. Why is it a dark day? Because the last few, that last 10% maybe that still say some things that are true, that are still, now they're on notice. They're on warning. This is a cartel. This is a mob hit. This is the mob telling journalists, damn it, you ain't saying nothing that's true. Now the whole world, all journalists need to be in fear of the fact of them saying anything pro-humanitarian, anything anti-war, or anything the United States oligarchs don't want being said, anything the central banks that run them don't want being interfered with. I mean, who would speak up now? Ask yourself that. Who would? This was a message. Them finally getting him, it means they can get to anybody. This was a message. But I think it's the beginning of a good fight, though. I think it's the beginning of a good fight because, you know, like people say, Assange or somebody else they were talking about. Something I saw yesterday. They said, well, they're co-opted because they didn't release all their information. I said, no, you have no idea how that works. If you have information that you need to release that doesn't want getting out, you never release all of it. Why? Because if I had some information on the mob I was going to release, I'd release the parts that are important. The biggest key pieces, I wouldn't release because that's the piece that's keeping me alive, right? And that's how that works. If you release everything, I say, oh, well, you're safe. No, not really. Then they just kill you. But if you got a piece that you hold on to that you don't release, that might be the piece that actually keeps you alive. So I think this gets interesting now because they talk about the dead man switch and all this, and now they got him. Are there documents, are there more significant bits and pieces of information that WikiLeaks can now release? Because now they're breaking it down. So I think we're coming into an interesting time. Let me see, I want to slap the cop's smirk off his face. Was he smirking? Oh, wait, hang on. Did we finish? Is this everything Assange said? That was his one tweet? Yeah, I think that was his only tweet. I think this is what you're talking about, Brother. You know what? You know, like I said, Lori, I'm not an anti-police guy. I'm not anti-police. I understand how this works, and I accept the fact that everybody wants to put food in their belly, and that's what police want to do. I'm about fight the system, rage against the machine, fight the power, not the minions of it. Because fighting the minions make it a sustainable fight. We have to end the system. We have to end all secrecy, and that's what WikiLeaks stood for. No secrets. Follow the money, exactly, Sister Cindy. You always got to follow the money. Stop following our egos, stop following our prejudices, stop following the people that we don't like, and follow the money. The money answers all questions. Money makes the world go round. That's it. Everything else is being used to play you by the mainstream media and your emotions. That's why it's so hard to watch. Well, that's why it's so hard for some to watch. It is, you know, Courtney, but we have to see it. We have to see it, right? We're adults, and if children are being killed and murdered and shot by helicopters that we pay for on our tax dollars because we keep voting for a sick, evil system that's based in violence and war, then we need to see it. You know, the people in Iraq, they see it every day. The people in the Congo, they see it every day. The people in Honduras, the people in, you know, all these countries we've destroyed, the people in Syria, the people in the West, they see it all day long. It's us, we need to see it because we got people here still fighting for single payer. Like, let that sink in for a minute. There are babies in foreign countries running from single bombs. And we got adults here that get money and they're fighting for single payer because that bomb that little child is running from is paying for single payer. That's why we got to see it. Amen. That's why we got to see it. That's why I love y'all that have those pictures of Yemen all over your profile. People need to see that. They need to see the evil they're colluding with. No, Russia didn't collude with Trump. You're colluding with killers because you don't want to see it. That's why we need to see it. And so this might be a good thing. So I appreciate y'all that are sharing. I appreciate y'all that are going to take out some time from your day and make some quotes and speak about Assange and post these things. This is important. This is very important. This is everything. Evil against good. Yes, exactly, Christine. And that's it. That's it. Evil against good. And sometimes, you know what? In that good fight, Christine, you got to align with people you don't like. You got to align with people that don't smell good. You got to align with people that might have funky breath. Just think about it like work. You know how, Christine, people go to work, they can work with people they don't like for a piddly paycheck. Can you stand next to people that you're suspicious of or you don't like to end murder? Can you? That's where I'm going with that. CNN commentator, this is a perp walk. This is what the end looks like when you're against the government, the world, but Russia. Exactly, Shane. It is. It's a perp walk. That's exactly what it is. Was he smirking? It's like somebody else said somebody smirking. Let me go back to that picture. Yeah, it was kind of a smirk. I don't know. Yeah, he kind of got that. Yeah, that might be a. I don't know. The UK, they make some funny faces. I love our brothers and sisters over there, but they make some funny faces sometimes. It might be a smirk. I don't know. But when I look at this picture, I see people who are paid by those to keep secrets arresting a man who was releasing the secrets. It's very clear to me whose side I would take in this picture. It's very clear to me where I need to stand as a human being. It's very clear to me where I need to stand as a parent that have children. It's very clear to me as a person who wants to move forward and progress the world into a time of peace instead of not making psychopaths. And that might be a smirk. That might be a psychopathic smirk. But, you know, once again, I know where that comes from. Police aren't trained to love you and care for you. Police aren't trained to protect and serve you. That day, if it ever was here, is long gone. The police in the UK, like the United States, like Germany, like everywhere else, they're paid to act like a correctional officer and control you. Why? Because the laws are there to control you. That's why they went there. They went there because they like biscuits and water. That's what police do, you know? So I have no issue with the police. I have an issue with the fact that the orders they were given were to drive past all the war criminals all over London, all the big bankers, all the big corporation CEOs, all the chemical company killers, all the big pharma people who are rolling out drugs that are killing percentages of people, all the silent weapons for quiet wars killers, to go get this man who was reporting on those killers, to go get this man that made a platform for whistleblowers to tell on those big bankers and robber barons. I only see there are controllers and those are being controlled. Good and evil. Very simple to me. Good morning, Brother Kevin. Good morning, YouTube. How y'all doing over there? This persecution is proof of his authenticity as an impactful truth seeker. Absolutely, and I agree with that. I agree with that. Why is he being persecuted? Why is he being arrested? The people critiquing him and saying that he's fake news and he's a stooge and all of this stuff, they're not arrested. They're eating Frosted Flakes. They're drinking coffee. They're out here with me. They're cowards like I am. They're on social media cowarding like I am. That man is being arrested. That means what he's doing is effective to some degree. I agree with that. I agree. Look at the persecution, follow the persecution. Like you follow the money, follow the persecution. It means a person did or said something right. Waking up is the most dangerous threat to the matrix. Survival is tied to quietly unplugging as you wake others up to the choices you make. Absolutely. Totally agree, Brother Kevin. You say, I'm sick to my stomach over Assange being arrested. Well, hang in there, Eileen. I mean, it's bad. It's bad, but it's the beginnings of a fight, Eileen. Just think about it that way. It's shots fired. Boom! And they've been firing them shots for a long time. You know, government's been making war on the people since kings and lords and feudalism, but we got a lot of sellouts in places all throughout that keep supporting it. Our neighbors, our family, our friends, and people in government. But maybe this is a shot that's loud enough that people actually hear, Eileen. Find hope in that. I think there's good in everything. If you spend a little time and look at it. The world's exactly how it's supposed to be, and it's playing out exactly how it's supposed to. Everything is right in the universe. The people who have the capability to see what's good. Focus on the good. Focus on the good. Now is the time to step up. Now is the time to start talking to your friends, because he'll be in the news. Until we take responsibility for what government does, we're all to blame. We're all equally guilty. Amen, Augustine. Thank you. And this is how a man talks. This is how a woman talks. This is how somebody who is mature talks. They don't do all that finger pointing, Augustine, right? Like, hey, you're fine. It's the left. It's the right. It's the Republicans. It's the Germans. No, everybody's all complicit in it. We all support the system. We all get up in the morning, we pay our taxes, and we go to work. We are all complicit with the society, and most of us are still voting. We are all equally accountable. We were just born in different places, and so some of us do a little more indirect accountability, but we're all accountable. We're all guilty, and that's why I'm saying you look in that mirror. Look in that mirror. Thank you. This is how mature people talk. If you're new, this is what these people are about. It's about being honest. And then when you can actually take your own medicine, when you actually can realize that you're to blame, then you can actually take positive actions in your own life to bring these things to an end. But we as individuals can say no and refuse to hurt others. Exactly. And that is a basic precept, I think, about humanity, is when you begin to take actions in your own life. When you accept that well, not only are you complicit, but you're not going to do it anymore. See, I can't hurt people. This is my goal. Like, I'm pretty sure, Christine, I hurt people on accident. It's never my intention. Never my intention. I never hurt anybody on purpose, not since I was probably 20 something. If I know it's hurting you, I have empathy privilege. I was born in a good family. I know what it's like. I can see people who are hurting, and when I can see in their eyes I hurt them, it hurts me. And we have to actually use that empathy privilege, if you are so privileged and if you got that, to look at people that you're hurting and say, I'm not going to be a part of it. And this is why I can't vote. People are still criticizing me. But you need to vote. You need to participate. No, because you're killing people. But we're killing less people. Right? Really? Okay. Yeah. We're raping less people. We're genociding less people. Our party, our group. And I'm like, no, your system requires you to hurt people. Your system requires you to kill people. I can't be a part of that. I can't have any bits of that on my hand. It's bad enough my wallet's full of it. It's bad enough as my bank account is full of all the blood money. I don't want any more parts of it. So no, I don't pull any letters. I do like the CorbettReport.com. Christine, I do too. I thought I saw a report that Corbett did yesterday. I got a notice and I clicked on the link and it said unavailable. So whatever he posted yesterday, YouTube took down. They were 3 men working in our government that still know what honor is. I hope so, GS Pinto. I don't know who they are. I really hope so. My entire life, like a sister said, just keep calm. She said the Patriots are in control. I'm gonna be honest with you. My entire life, I've never seen patriots in government. I haven't. I've seen oligarchs, I've seen killers, I've seen sellouts, I've seen all that. I need to see the rest of the story play out if we got some good guys in the government. I haven't seen it. I see Pompeo. I really show the news. I'm off running my mouth. If you joined late, what it's about is Assange was arrested. And so I think there were reports already that he's being extradited to the United States. So I guess he's not going to Switzerland. They realized all that was fake charges and lies, but they're going to extradite him to the United States. And you know what's going to happen. You know what's going to happen. People say there's a plan. I hope so. I hope y'all are right. I hope the Patriots are rolling with it. And it's something that I'm not seeing, an email I didn't get, but I haven't seen that sort of miracle happen in my lifetime. In my lifetime, it's always been a game, it's always been a lie, it's always been a crook, and in the end, the money always wins. It's like Martin Luther King said. He said to make real changes, you gotta have one of two things. You gotta have the money, or you gotta have the numbers. And he said, we don't have the money. But he had the numbers, and that's why they killed him. Right? And this was some of the speculation that the lawyer that actually went back and proved that the other guy didn't shoot him. is that King was looking towards doing a constitutional convention to go back, and he actually had the numbers to bring about real change in America. He was anti-war. He started fighting for poor whites. He started speaking about the poor in Vietnam. And as soon as he started doing that, as soon as he broke down and stopped playing race games, they murdered him. That should tell you everything that you need to know. Everything you need to know. That's the only thing that these people fear. They fear sovereignty. They fear unity. They fear you standing up for each other. That's the only thing they fear. They fear you standing up for your neighbor's rights that you don't like. You chastising Assange, they love it. Anti-war people chastising anti-war people, good to go. Activists fighting activists, good to go. White people fighting black people, good to go. Black people fighting white people, good to go. Americans fighting Native Americans, good to go. But the minute you get together and you decide we ain't playing this game no more, you're gonna leave them alone, you're gonna leave me alone too, that's when they murder you. It's about the principle of the action, not the person. Exactly, Terry, and this is my point. And I don't get that people don't get that. Look at the principle. Where does that person stand, and where did their actions take the world in terms of progression in our society? And if it did some good things, then you need to cheer that person and take your skepticism and put it somewhere. Don't trust anybody, but put the skepticism somewhere, because that person is a brother in the fight that you're fighting, especially if it's against war. Isn't that part of their plan? Keep everybody confused, isolated, untrusting of their brothers and sisters. That's the plan, Susan, and it worked. Because it's the plan because it works. Because people are gullible and silly enough to fall into these scams every single time. They fall right back into it, and they're fearful of their neighbor. They're fearful of this race. They're fearful of a Dixie flag. They're trying to go to work, and the big dirty truck pull out that says redneck, and it got a Dixie flag on the back, and they're scared of it. And I'm not scared of it. Half the time, by the time I finish following that truck and I stop and think, you know what? I might actually know that guy. I might actually, because I talk to people all the time. Anytime there's somebody that seems like they're vastly different from me, I try to start a conversation with them. If we were at the grocery store, I would have pulled up next to them and I would have said something like, "Long live the Republic." Because I like to talk to people. That's how you learn. And the more different people are from you, the more you'll learn. Not only that, but you start breaking down this fear and these ties that they use to control and farm us. The people will stand. I hope so, Leanne. I'm hoping the people will stand up. I'm hoping this is the shot that does that. Let's look at the clip of the news. I've been running my mouth. Let's look at the clip of the news and I'll go back to comments. I had a good live from the Ecuadorian Embassy, but this was the clip of them taking them in.
You gonna ask why I'm still single?
The oligarchs, dragoons.
Charlotte, you've been a great secretary.
Abstain.
I
need some writers.
So he said a few things as they dragged him out. I'm just going to silence the mic, but they didn't have the actual audio. He said the UK must resist.
UK resist.
That works.
UK must resist.
Just don't go past us. Thank you.
That's another thing, Christine, thank you for that. So I find the cover of the murderous pharmaceutical and military weapon warfare the worst part of the propaganda. And that was one thing Assange revealed. Like, not only did he start an anti-war movement, he started an anti-secrecy movement, right? Like, there were a lot of us who were considered to be conspiracy theorists who were talking about these things. And he started talking about it. He started mentioning smart dust. Remember his last broadcast, his last interview, where he mentioned smart dust? He started talking about the weather weapons. And for me, like the way my brain works, I look at things and I'm a skeptic. But when you start adding stuff up, and all these people talking about chemtrails, and people talking about geoengineering, people talking about weather weapons, you look in China and you see that Japan sprayed China. You look in America, you see the American government sprayed its people. And then Assange talks about this nanoparticles and nanobots, and he briefly talked about that, and this was towards the end of where they shut off the interview. where he started saying these things. And then you have whistleblowers who talk about it. And then you have that in 1974, they signed a document that said that 1974, the United States, Russia, and I think Britain and somebody else signed a document that said they will not use weather weapons against another nation. They signed a document. A few years later, they got pretty much every country in the world to sign the same document. And in 1974, I remember that. That's the year I was born. Why in the hell would they do that if it wasn't real? So when you got all these different sources and whistleblowers giving documents to WikiLeaks and him releasing that, these are just some of the great, powerful things. And now geoengineering.org is a thing. People are listening. They understand that, yeah, this is what's happening. You got the CIA whistleblower, I forgot his name, Chris something, who showed that, yeah, this was a project with the universities to spray people, to do atmospheric injections. And these are good things. When people are showing you that your world is false, when you have these Morpheuses, if you will, come forward and show you that you're being lied to about your society, then it pulls people out of that. Truth telling is never bad. It's always good. It doesn't matter the source. Damn it, if Hillary Clinton came out and said something true, I'd be good to go with what she has to say. Doesn't mean that I support her, I like her, but I'll support that action of her saying something that's true. Like I said, Obama can wake up and not be a sellout any day he chooses to. Trump can say something too, but they'd kill him because he's when you're in the office of the president, you say they're gonna take care. There's a reason why Trump went to Russia and said, "Oh, my security agency's losing emails, and your security agency wouldn't do that." And he came home and he changed that script real quick. Why? It's not because these people are nice people. It's not because these people are gonna send you a fine in the mail. These people are killers. I think there was one more. Detail. There's a lot of live broadcasts on it. Live from the live broadcast. Let me see. What were WikiLeaks' biggest revelations? That might be interesting.
Well, meanwhile, Assange's future remains unclear. Ecuador is now reportedly considering withdrawing its asylum protection, prompting fears he'll be extradited to America, where he faces prosecution over the leaking of classified documents. Let's flash back for a moment and recall some of those leaks.
Recall some of his selling out. Iraq and Afghanistan war logs. Largest classified military leak in history. The largest military leak in history. I guess that's just the CIA trying to play us. I guess that's what that is. They're trying to play us by releasing information from the U.S. military after the U.S. military was bought because they're sold on the market to foreign interests and big corporations, starting with Chiquita Banana and Confessions of an Economic Hitman with, was it John Perkins? I keep messing that name up. But, oh yeah, sure. That probably is a bad thing. They're lying to us about. We have an industry that makes massive metal, steel weapons of war to go around the world and murder people, and they take poor, innocent, or poor children at the age of 18 and they indoctrinate them into a military to go murder people they don't know. And it's a bad idea to release that information. I guess that's a lie.
I'm American.
Collateral murder video captures U.S. indiscriminate slaying of civilians. Right, that's the helicopter scene, right?
Come on, let us shoot. Come on. Oh yeah, look at that, right through the windshield.
And look at listen to the exciting nature of it. Oh yeah, got him right through the windshield. And y'all get upset and you're like, oh, that's why we gotta stop the military, that we gotta arrest the soldiers. No, actually, no, that's not the way I look at it. Again, to me, it's about the powers and the principalities. Is anybody taking children at the age of 18, putting them in boot camps and doing neuroscience activity on them, training them to be killers so that they would look at this no more than a video game? Who's doing that? Right? Like, you can go get that pilot, you can get the gunner, you can prosecute him, do whatever, and guess what? Another's gonna take his place. Why? Because you're not fighting the power and the principality. You're not fighting the system, you're getting lost and confused. And so I appreciate this because this kind of lines up and links up with James Fallon. and the warrior genes, taking children and breaking them intentionally to use them to go murder people on the other side of the country. We need neuroscientists to actually speak the truth about what's happening to our people around this planet, what they're doing to our soldiers and our children. There's a reason 22 are committing suicide every single day, so I appreciate that as well. U.S. diplomatic cable revealed corruption worldwide, propelled Tunisia revolution. Right, so now we got a couple thousand or tens of thousand people killed, and he let everybody know that. I don't know, that's probably bad. Gitmo Files reveals the torture of prison, deaths due to mistreatment, right? I think that's probably a good thing. We should know that, right? They were born over there. We captured them, put them in prison, and tortured the hell out of them. This is during the Obama administration, and this is something that we need to know. So they released all types of great releases that allow us to become human and act like we got some damn sense. We can't seem to do that.
Well, I'm not a doctor, but I think you're getting good medical care.
Exposes EU plan for military intervention against refugee boats in Libya. NSA world spying discloses NSA is spying on world leaders and citizens. You think that might be important? I don't know. What you think? What you think? I think that might be important. You think that might be some important information that everybody around the world is being spied on? I don't know. You ever vote for somebody, put them in office, and they do the exact opposite of what they said they were going to do? I don't know. Maybe it's because somebody's capturing records from everybody all over the world, what they're doing, and they can use that to bribe you. Not that you did anything wrong, but if you run for office, they'll put your mama in prison, they'll put your kids in prison, they'll put your friends in prison, they'll bring indictments against everybody, they'll get a special investigator to investigate, and they got all the information, they got all the data. Once again, this is cheering the deep state. This is shallowing a deep state organization or 13 families that seem to run the whole damn planet. Try to get on the right side of this thing. Be on the right side of history, please.
Does the NSA collect any data on millions of Americans?
No, sir.
Lying, no integrity. Pro-Clinton media, bias exposes. Scheme to push Sanders out of the race. Is that important to anybody? It's important to me. I appreciate it. A lot of my friends are burn exiters. I appreciate them to death. I feel like I'm not crazy no more. I feel like I was crazy. I was like, oh, the politicians are crazy. Now we got a big swath of the Democratic Party that left Bernie Sanders, did a burn exit, and they're still exiting, and now they're obstruct the vote people. They're in the same spot, anti-establishment, that the Trump people are. I think that's a good thing. Why? Because I got people who back Trump and who back Bernie, and they understand. They agree with raging against the machine again. They agree with fighting the power again. They've given up on this sellout mentality of keep a murderous society in place. And so I appreciate them. I still don't agree with the Bernie vote, and I don't agree with the Trump vote. I agree with the anti-establishment vote, and however you feel that you're fighting that best, then you're supposed to do that. But that's good information. You need to know if the DNC is dirty as the GOP. You need to know that they're dirty as the Republicans. You need to know that every time these sellouts come out their mouth and say, but the Republicans, that they're doing it too. You need to know that they need to clean their own house. You need to know that this whole Russiagate thing was a bunch of BS because they want to keep killing people, making money, starting wars. They don't want to clean their house up. They gave you a demigod. They gave you a bigger demon to fight. And so now you completely ignored the fact that you were involved with a criminal organization and you're voting for killers funneling weapons all around the world while you're fighting gun control. You're fighting for gun control. That's important. This is important detail. This is why I'm saying this man is the greatest anti-war activist of the time, and I'm not sure that's the biggest statement. He is probably the greatest anti-violence activist of the time. He's the one linking together all the lies upon lies upon lies upon lies.
WikiLeaks walks like a hostile intelligence service and talks like a hostile intelligence service.
Exactly, and I always get a giggle when Pompeo uses the word hostile. I always find it funny when Pompey, he likes to say things like genocide is bad while he's genociding. He likes to say things like violence is bad while he's one of the most violent men in the world. He likes to say things like war crimes. Well, he's the head of the biggest criminal organization in the world. He likes to say things like that, and I find it funny. He likes to talk about human rights. And so I think it's important because when you align and you actually understand and see how all of this works and you realize there are people revealing truth and there are people who want to keep that truth covered up, then you don't get lost in these Pompey statements. You don't get lost in the Obama statements. You don't get lost in anybody's statements that say things. If you stand against the public getting information, then it should be obvious you are on the wrong side of history, period. Great things. Seth Rich. Exactly, Lori. They killed Seth Rich. I mean, come on. Please tell me your intellect works at that level. You do understand they killed Seth Rich, right? You do understand what these secret societies are always up to, you know? But that's what they do. And the only reason Assange is alive is because they couldn't kill him because he hid in the embassy. Free Assange, hashtag free speech. Absolutely, Patricia, we gotta free Assange. We gotta stop playing, y'all. We need to grow up. We need to support the right things. We had one hero in my lifetime. We did JP Kane, and in my lifetime, the only one I would put close to that word hero is Julian Assange, and that's it. Gerard, I didn't think that Smart Dust video looked legit. Audio didn't appear to match. Need to review. I agree with you, Patricia. It was weird. It was weird. I don't know why it was weird, but it was weird. But I appreciate the fact that he hit on a lot of things that are called conspiracy theories, and he kind of indicated that he had more information than what he released, because he never released anything about Smart Dust. He never released anything that I know of about aliens. That was the one. Yeah, I know. Yeah, he said aliens. No, you know that, right? Yes, that's why I like that one. I like that one the best. Because people still think that they're the only game in town. There are humans on this planet that still think they're the only intellect in the universe. They still live in that narcissistic earth mind, earth human that we're the salt of the universe and ain't nothing else like us, you know? And so, but he didn't say, he just kind of indicated. But the audio was weird. It was a weird thing. And that's why I don't, you know, I think all powerful movements get co-opted. I think that if you fall in and blindly follow Assange or blindly follow anyone, hell yeah, the CIA is going to take them. That's what psychopaths do. The minute you get a blind following, the minute your religion believes that these scriptures are breathed out of God's mouth, Big G God's mouth himself, and not the little G gods, not the popes, not the King Jameses. The minute that you believe blindly, that's the minute they got you. That's the minute they take over that organization and all your tithes and offerings go to the demon. That's just how psychopaths work. You can't have a blind following. You cannot have a blind following to anything. So few Americans pay any attention. No, they don't, Eileen, because in life, in America, life is very good for very few and it's horrible for others. And life is really horrible and you work 3, 4, 5 jobs, you can barely feed your kids. You don't have time for this. You're literally trying to keep your head above water. That's what Jefferson said, keep your head above water. You know, that you don't have time for this. And if you're living wealthy, you're living pretty good, pretty high up on that middle class, got that Benz, got a nice house, you don't want to see. You walk around like a horse with blinders. You don't want to actually see this. You don't want to know that your lifestyle is based on killing, death, murder, and destruction. You want to be a happy sellout. You want to be a happy slave on the plantation because you're higher than everybody else. You got that American privilege. You lucked up with mommy, daddy privilege. You got that college degree. You're living pretty good, got a nice job. You don't want anything affecting your savings and your bank account, which is pretty funny to me, Eileen, because money is all fantasy. It is literally fantasy. It is literally fantasy. And that's why the other thing that was in the news is Russia's hoarding gold. Why is Russia hoarding gold? Because your money is fantasy. And the more you shove in that bank account, you're just proving how lost you are in this. And if you're in America, it's even worse because you ain't got money. You got promissory notes. You got a promise from the government that you got $35,000 in your bank account. It's a promise. And I'm like, yeah, these are the people that murdered children. These are the people that starved children to death. I don't really need their promises. I don't believe their promises. If you can't be true to your human nature and like not murder children, your promises mean exactly dick. That's what they mean. So that's why Americans don't pay attention. They still believe, they're still following this fantasy. They love the Matrix. The steak tastes delicious because they got better steak than the other people. You love your aliens. Yes, Eileen, I do. I love my aliens. I love them. Because I think aliens are the way out, Eileen. I do. I think if you can convince these narcissistic humans that they're not the only game in town, then they can actually think about more important things. Right? Like we're always dying. We're always being wiped out. We talked about the Adam and Eve stuff. We talked about the calamities that are always coming. We're either working together or we're not. And I think when people are scared enough, when they know that their government is actually not in control, they're not the strongest thing in the universe, that there's greater forces out there and we all could be murdered and stepped on like a bug in a minute, or we could learn to become more sentient, to ascend. We can learn how to get along and move forward. So I love aliens. I love it because I think that's the only that'll grow people up, or most people. But you got to get them out of their narcissistic minds. All right, let me see. Chastising only truth will set you free. What you No. What'd you say? Not chastising. Only truth will set you free. Only truth will set you free. I don't know why people chastise people telling the truth. I don't understand. I just don't. But you know what? I guess people love conspiracies though. I think they're delicious too, Christine. Like we get lost and we fall into it. There's nothing really wrong with that. But you know, let's if we want to play tiddlywinks and go back and forth over conspiracy theories, let it be aliens, let it be some UFOs. I don't know, maybe energy technology. But when it comes to war, where it is empirically proven that we're murdering children, that's when you gotta stop. That's when you put the conspiracy, take that conspiracy theory and kind of just tuck it in the back. Remember, there are children that are dying today. Just in this broadcast alone, children have died. Like that's where we gotta focus. Don't chastise people revealing truth. Does this look like the face of a CIA asset? Do you believe? Oh, right. Going back, looking at his face. It didn't to me, and I don't care. It's like, I don't know. I don't care. Like people say, oh, he's CIA. I don't really care. I don't care. Him as a CIA operative, deep state, underground, whatever he is, as a sellout, more for the human race than I have. Who am I to judge that man? I'm just not that one. I'm not that one. All right. I hope I live to see the day when police like this and military personnel wake up to the reality. Brother Don, I think you will. I think we're approaching it. What does standing up look like? Question mark. Exactly, Rebecca. It looks like oppression. It looks like persecution when you stand up. That's what it looks like. You can look for deeper layers in it, but that's exactly what it looks like. You get grabbed by the dragoons that work for the oligarchs. He is scared to come here. Yeah, he is scared to come here, Lori, because we murder people. Oh, check that out on Facebook. It says sharer. Ooh, we're going to get fun with this. We're going to have some fun with this. Look, Rebecca, on your comment, it says sharer. Now, in my deep state ways, in this little power that I have, I'm going to prioritize the people who share in commentary. Yes, I am. Yes, I am. Damn it. They must think I'm good enough to mention sharers on this broadcast now. If you're a sharer, yes, I'm going to prioritize your commentary. Why? Because I know you give a damn. Not that you agree with me, and not that I agree with you. We don't need to agree. All we need to do is collude together as a human race to move forward. And so I don't think anybody who shares my video feels they agree with me. I think that it tells me that you care about the content. And the content today is Assange. And that's anti-war, and it's no secrecy. I think that's probably the most important conversation we have in the world going right now. Prince talked about this in an interview. Did he, Debbie? I didn't know that. If you got a link, please post it. Let me see. Hashtag pray for the world. Yes, we need to pray for the world. The world is heading in the wrong directions, complete wrong directions. We need to turn this sucker around. Trump behaves like a good Gemini. He really does admire Julian, but will present the opposite as he's instructed. I hope you're right, Kate. I hope you're right. I know this, that if I were Trump, I would not be freeing Julian. I know that. I know that for sure. I guarantee you, I would not be fighting the deep state if the majority of my citizens were agreeing with the deep state. How stupid do you think I am? I do the same exact thing. Until we grow up, we will never have a president that will grow up with it, a president that will move forward with it. We'll never have congressmen or senators that will cheer anti-war until we're anti-war. They are a direct representation and reflection of our indifference, our apathy, and our ignorance. And that's what I truly believe. But I hope you're right. This is why, like I said, I don't care who the president. Oh, look at heaven shared. Oh, I see the shares. This is so cool. So sad. Any soul who can do something like that is dark and twisted. Exactly, Daniel. We need to say, and we need to call it out for what it is. When it's dark and it's evil, call it out for what it is. I heard that went up to a 25 a day. I don't know. Oh, the 22 suicides a day, Lori. Well, I guarantee you it probably wasn't even 22 when they said it was 22. It was probably higher than that, and it's probably higher than 25 now. I'm kicked off of Facebook again. I can't share for 3 days. Eileen, then you need to stop saying truthful things and just agree to sell out. That's okay. It hurts. I hate being banned and kicked off of Facebook. I had that happen twice. I got some warnings. Oh yeah, isn't Assange an NSA agent too, as well as CIA? Yeah, he probably is, Kate. I mean, he's fighting the NSA while we're doing nothing, right? He's fighting the CIA, their information. He's talking against their wars and releasing information and providing a platform. But yeah, okay, right. I tell you what, as a sellout he's fighting the CIA more than I am. Thank you for sharing, Jeannie. Lies! Tell him, Sister Jeannie, lies! We are so skeptical because we see the big corrupt system. We do, Lori, and we gotta be skeptics. We gotta be skeptics, but we gotta apply our skepticism in a way that doesn't hurt our efforts, right? Like, apply them like Brother Terry said. The principalities and the powers. Focus on principalities and the powers. Wasn't important to Bernie. No, it was not important to Bernie, Courtney, not at all. Bernie didn't like that one bit. But he took that big war money. He got his votes out. And so I got a lot of friends upset with me, but I'm sorry, I can't go along with a killer. I don't believe in the least of the evils. There's only evil and evil. Burn exit. Yes, Patricia, I agree with that. Lori's talking about shrink the government. Please shrink the government. Please, we need little government. I don't know why anyone, Lori, thinks that anything good will come from big colonizing, authoritarian, oppressive government. And it's not that the government's bad. They're not bad. It's just their mandate. They're a system. They're required to control you. The bigger they get, the more laws they write, the more they control you. At a certain point in time, it's called slavery. Like it's a scale. It's very simple. Small government, more freedom. Big government, less freedom. And at some point on that spectrum, going from small government to big government, you are back on a plantation. And I think we're back on a plantation, Lori. I completely agree with you. Small government does small genocide, small oppression, small authoritarian, small police state. Big government, big police state. Big mass incarceration state. Big pharmaceutical state. Barney and Trump are not against the machine. They are part of the machine. Unfortunately, Brother John, I have to agree with you. I'm not seeing the fight, but if internally Trump wants to fight or internally Bernie wants to fight, I understand why they don't. I understand why they don't. The only thing I have to disagree on Bernie part is I'm not voting for war. I'm not going to take war money. I'd rather die. If I were a congressman, I wouldn't take that Raytheon, Lockheed Martin money. I would never vote for war. You'd have to kill me on that one. Like, I might be in office and not be able to fight the machine because I thought that I could be a president or congressman and do good for people instead of just murder people and loot their countries. But once I got in office and they explained that to me, I'm like, all right, well, you know what, listen, I guess I got to play out this term. I played the term out, but I ain't taking none of y'all killers' money. I ain't taking none of your deep state money as a hint maybe to some people who might actually get it that I'm not a part of this, and I would never vote for them. I'd never vote for it. I would abstain. I might not show up. I might not vote against it, but I damn sure would abstain until people woke up to a point where I know that I actually could act on the humanitarian bone I had inside. That's why it's on us. It's on us. This is all on us. None of this is on Trump. None of this is on the Congress. None of this is on the Senate. None of this is on the Congress. None of this, none of the endless wars are on them. It is 100% on us and in our mirror. Until we grow up, they can't act like grown-ups. So how it goes down. Thank you for sharing. Who's that? Jeannie? Grandpa Gaslight. What's going on, Courtney? That's the way they all roll. That's how they roll, Courtney. That's how it is. And we need to stop that roll. We need to poke holes in the tires. Julian has served dental issues. I mean, Julian has severe dental issues, no medical care for him for years, right, Lord? Well, it was torture. It was literally torture for him to be there. But these people don't care. These people kill children. Of course they're killing them. Of course they won't give them health care. These people don't care. The deep state that control our federal government and the UK government, they don't care. And now they control the Ecuadorian government. They probably gave them that $100 million loan or whatever it was, $100 billion loan. I don't know what it was. Or some weapons and guns. So they take the guy who is fighting war criminals, and they take war weapons from the warring governments to arrest him, and they give him up. How about all supporters of Julian buy that book today that he was clutching? He was holding. It's an obvious way for a reason. Oh, what? What? He's clutching a book, Maria? Huh? What'd I miss? Is he clutching a book? Did I miss the video? He was clutching something when they brought him out the embassy? All right, y'all, teach me what I miss. Was there like some indicator?
Technology is the future of farming.
Yeah, technology is the future of farming. Right now, we're not talking about feeding people. In this commercial, we're talking about a brother that just got arrested that's more of a human than everybody I know on this planet. Hold on. I don't know that he is. What book is that? Ooh, he is holding a book. Anybody know what book that is? It's somebody's face on the cover. I can't really see it. Let me see if I can pull that up. I can't see whose face is on the cover of it. I wonder if that's something significant. Or is that a magazine? You can't see it past that point. So it's interesting. That is interesting. Wait, who's that? Maria? That is interesting. That is a book. Somebody blow that up. Somebody see if you can find out what the heck that is. That's if you know you're about to die and you grab a book, that could be huge. That could be everything. I don't know what that is. That could be everything. Like, why would you grab this last minute book? Like, you can grab anything and you know you're about to go be killed. Yeah, I can't read it. I tried to slow it down. Somebody will figure it out. Somebody will post it. That good eye. Go on, Maria. Oh, you got it? What is it? Gore Vidal's The History of the National Security State. Ooh, let's see if we can find that. Really? Did you? Oh, there's some research, y'all. Live research. Anybody read it? Give me a synopsis. Gore Vidal, The History of the National Security State. And you got some good eyes. I couldn't see that for nothing. Yeah, it actually does look like the cover, doesn't it? It does look like the book he was holding. Gore Vidal, The History of the National Security State. I don't want to go to Wikileaks. Right, intellectual, known for his. Let's do this. Let's do this. I got an idea. We'll do some live stuff. What's this?
Donate today and receive a new documentary film available to members of the Real News Network. The History of the National Security State with legendary author Gore Vidal.
The news magazine of the screen. Living glimpses of history in the making.
Hollywood and Washington, there's a symbiotic relationship. They both deal with illusions. Reality doesn't often play much of a part. I think I saw through the myth of the Cold War almost from the beginning. I was a Washington political kid from a political family. Roosevelt first had radio because he had this great speaking voice and everyone liked to hear. Truman proceeded to break every arrangement that Roosevelt had set up for a peaceful coexistence. And Truman thought that it would be a good idea. Why not just stay armed all the time? And then he devised the national security state. You've got to go up and swear allegiance to the United States or else you're a commie. I mean, we had imported fascism. We get Dwight Eisenhower, who said that we have this great military industrial complex. It is a dangerous thing. And he said this is going to change everything. And the way our country's governed is going to change us politically. Along comes Jack Kennedy, who wanted to make his mark, believed in the Cold War. But he said, in this kind of politics, it is the appearance of things that matters. I think everybody should take a sober look at the world about us. The national security state still exists, only it isn't communism anymore, it's terrorism. This is the most serious thing that has happened in the history of the United States. Knowledge is power. We need an honest news system.
We need the real news.
This is the sort of thing we can build right now without anyone else's permission from the government or from the business community. It's the power's in our hands.
If we're not going to sleepwalk into more wars, we think we need to start with a television news network that won't bow to pressure and has the courage to seek facts. And that means independent economics. And that's why we need you.
Make a tax-deductible
All right, there we go. That's interesting. I have to look at that. I have to look at Gore Vidal. I don't know anything about him. Did I say it right? Gore Vidal. I have to look him up. Thank you, Sister Marie. Good, fine. Good eyes, girl. Good eyes. Go on with your bad self. Absolutely. I agree with everything in the video. We have to have truth. Everything is about perception now. You know, they get us to, it's not about what's true, it's about what's perceived. I'm not trying to be hard on anybody. I'm just simply saying that if you think Assange is a bad actor, okay, I get that, but he did good things. So we should be cheering a guy who did good things. We should cheer him for the good things he did and not go off on a perception too much. John, you're about to get blocked. I said, you brother, I ain't gonna block you. I'll block you. But I know, hell no. Gerard 2020, hell no. Hell to the no, no today, no tomorrow, no yesterday, no anything. Nobody needs to run anybody. We need to end this whole run world. We don't need leaders. I'm tired of saying it. I don't know why you're not getting it. Or you just joking, you're trying to be funny. I don't want to lead nobody. I'm not prepared to lead anybody. I just happen to have a platform and I try to bring people together so we can talk about important things. Nobody knows better at being John Sean than you. Gerard don't know a damn thing about being John Sean. Gerard don't know a damn thing about being Dee Dee, a damn thing about being Daniel, a damn thing about Maria, a damn thing about Eileen, not enough to tell any of y'all what to do. You wake up in the morning, put your boots on, put your high heels on, get your makeup, you go do you. You enjoy your life. We shouldn't have leaders we don't want. My first act, you put me in 2020, my first act, you know how it's gonna look. You go ahead and put me in. Go ahead and put me in. Yeah, we got Gerard 2020. My first act in government. I'm going to Hell no. Shoot. You don't think the CIA has seen my video, John? Hell no. I talk about them all day. I love them to death. I talk about them all day, though. Oh, no. They'd take out, you know how grandma used to take out that whip, the switch? Hell no. I'd shoot. Because I'm not playing. I dissolved the whole damn government. I dissolved the whole damn thing. I give everybody a chicken. That's what I do, John. I like, listen, for my first act, everybody gets chickens. Everybody has to have a well and get water. Everybody has to plant seeds. I would take my gardening authoritarian ways and force you to feed your own damn family. But I give you the things to do it, though. I let the whole deep state collapse. I'd be like, nobody can pay taxes. It's a federal crime to pay taxes. Hell no, hell no. No, we don't need no more leaders. We need to walk away. That's all we need to do. Walk away. If your system is locking up people who are trying to give you good information and the truth, and they're censoring, what they're doing to Assange is no more than a book burning. It's no more than a witch hunt and a book burning. They're literally burning information that you need to see. This is how we know we need to walk away from the whole damn system. That's my point. I'm about to get out of here in a minute. Philosophy could really help the discourse. It could, Dee. Philosophy helps people to think deeply. It helps people to think critically. It helps people to actually process and go through information, not be told what to believe based on perception and the fantasy and not on just the mainstream media, but the alternative news. Like I said, that's why I started the whole thing. And anti-war activists fighting anti-war activists. That's stupid. That's dumb. You shouldn't do that. We can't be in the same, see, we're in a foxhole. Here's my example. We're in a foxhole. We are literally in a foxhole. Whether you want to be there or not, you're in it. You're in that foxhole with your black nationalists and your white nationalists, and you're in there with your left, your right, your Republicans, your Democrats. We all in the same damn foxhole. We all got guns. We're all getting ready for the enemy. The enemy been lobbing bombs and weapons and mortars at us, and we're in the foxhole arguing with each other. All the poor people all over the world, the lower upper class, the middle class, the low class, the no class, the prison class, we're all in the same damn hole, the same damn foxhole, and we're in the foxhole arguing with each other. It's stupid. It's stupid. Pick up your truth, and it's an example. Pick up your truth gun, your truth knife, and start firing at the enemy. Fire at the enemy, not at each other. You're not each other's enemies. We're stupid, but we're not enemies of each other. And if Assange looks like he did something that lobbed a bomb at the enemy, damn it, he's in the foxhole with us. You may not like him, he may not brush his teeth, he might have been in the embassy too long, but you should be on his side. I hate to give examples like that, but guys, we gotta really, come on, gotta move forward. I love conspiracy theories, but this is not when people are getting killed and murdered. Come on, y'all. All right, Moreno has serious legal issues and the U.S. is bailing him out. Likely they set him up too. I believe it. Anyone the enemy goes after, you should be cheering. Anybody the big government goes after, you should be cheering. Any slave that's being beat by the plantation, you should think, he done did something Massa ain't like. Maybe we should take him some biscuits. Maybe we should take him some water. Maybe we should take his wounds and heal his wounds because he just got whipped by Massa. Apparently Massa don't like him. I like Massa a lot less than I like him. Maybe he's a good guy. Maybe we should do that. All right, let me get down in comments and get out of here. William Pounds, what is the book called? The book is called, I think I already said, the History of the National Security State. Brother, I would appreciate it if you read the book and gave me some sort of synopsis. I'm gonna look up Gore Vidal today and see if he's got any talks or lectures. That's some deep stuff that Sister Maria sent us. Eisenhower was the worst, as well as the first to rely on TV propaganda. Aldi Stevenson should have won, but believed peeps wouldn't buy the TV nonsense. Nixon was his VP. # disgusting. Carnival Barker Eisenhower. And that might have been Miss T. I don't know a whole lot about Eisenhower. All the things he did, but it's just like Assange. Right? And it's just like JFK. JFK was not a good guy for a large part of him. He came out of that elite family and he did his dirt too. But the things he did in the end were right? Trying to end the Federal Reserve. That's what I say. That's why I don't get lost in identities. I focus on what was good. And what Eisenhower said was spot on. We got a military-industrial complex. We got to get rid of it. We got secret societies, JFK said. We got to get rid of it. So spot on with those things. But what the other things they did, but it's good. It's good to know the spectrum though too. It's good to know the good and bad things people did, so we don't get lost in over trusting, the people and the identity, but just focus on the action. Gore Vidal's History of the National Security State. Oh yeah, okay, you already posted it. Good. It's Gore Vidal's book. Okay, blah, 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 blah. He's clutching the book. All right, let me move down. Great eyes, I missed that. So did I, Marilyn. So did I. This is why it's good. This is why I'm saying we work better as a hive. Because there's too many things that are easily missed. You know, when we're these little individuals, but that's why they don't like the internet, and that's why they're about to shut this thing down. They were not ready for this internet. they too many people who actually give a damn are coming together. Not enough people are gaslit and they're scared of it, and that's why they're censoring everything now. Yes, we have to read it, absolutely. Let's see. I think I'm just about done. What are you done with, Brother Kelly? He could have a paper. Okay, blah, blah, blah. We're ready for comments. G, spying. I'm not spying, Lord. I'm spying on. Participating in this entire system is an effing joke. It is, Kelly, and we need to be done with it. We need to stop participating. Participate less every day. Every day. Kelly is spot on. Gerard, look up the Perimeter Institute. What is the Perimeter Institute? Perimeter Institute. I'm gonna try to public lectures of the Perimeter Institute. Woo! Theoretical physics. I like the sound of that. Expanding horizons, a panel discussion. Okay, I'll look at that. Okay, I'll take a look at that later. So like the Vidal. How old is he now? I don't know. I don't even know who he is. This is new to me, Lori. Vidal's a great commentator. Okay, a lot of people I trust. A lot of people saying, well, a lot of people who I see saying very awesome and amazing things look like they like Vidal, so I have to look him up. Vidal is a deeply thoughtful man, Brother Kevin saying, okay, I'm gonna look him up. I'm gonna look him up. That's what I'm gonna do today. I got a lot of work to do today, and as I'm in the background, Vidal is gonna be telling me his vision of the world. Truman was a swine. Could have been. I don't know anything about Truman. It's the new ism. All right. History has the proof. Yes, it does, D. That was heavy. It was, Brother Justin. It is. Love his talk show with William F. Buckley. Now, I know the name William F. Buckley. They started the first TV commentary. Okay. Let me see. We're stuck in collective cognitive dissonance, and those awakened considered freaks and subversive. That's right, Dee Dee. That's why I say be a freak. Be a freak, Dee Dee. Be a super freak. We need to be super freaks. We need to be super freaks because when the world is this ugly, you need to be the exact opposite of it. People will call you crazy, but the world is crazy. And when the world is crazy, you need to seem crazy because that means you're the only sane person. The establishment always hated Vidal. Okay. Lori, no one is without flaws. There are far more good to Julian. Yes, Kate. I don't know if you saw it yesterday. That's what we were talking about. We were talking about Saj Guru, talking about how there is no good and bad. They're just spectrums. That's all it is. There's no good and bad people. People are just on a spectrum, and their atmosphere will determine what they become. We need to focus on the atmospheres, not the identities. What is narrated and insinuated and faddish to follow. He just published what was given to him, the truth. Yes, and that's a good point, Roseanne, and that's a good point. I'm glad you said that. It's not like Julian was this great mind that you need to compare your intellect with, and I'm smarter than Julian, or anything silly like that. He's just a brother like, listen, hey, the world's jacked up. Everybody send me what's jacked up in your corporation or your government. That's all he did, and I'll publish it. That's not criminal. That's called human. That's called being smart. It's called government shouldn't have secrets to begin with, nor corporations in a time when the world always comes to an end and the human beings always die. When they're spraying chemicals and pesticides and cancer's going through the roof and autism's flipping out, war is prolific on every continent, you can't seem to stop it. We need a guy that just says, hey, whistleblowers, hey, everybody, y'all, somebody doing something stupid in your government, your deep state organization, corporation, they're doing something to hurt human beings and they're lying about it, y'all just send me the information and I'll publish it. Nothing wrong with that. He broke absolutely no laws. Make me a czar, I'll fix stuff and then retire to my farm. Yeah, I don't think I need to think. I think we need to fix Kelly is we just need to get away from it. Let everybody go back to being adults. Stop trying to control everybody. Probably delete all the laws and regulation and all that nonsense and just give people what they need to provide for their own families and just shut everything down, close it out, turn the lights out, sweep the floor, close the curtain. So we tried this government thing and it just doesn't work. It just doesn't work. Every time Every flavor we try, we end up in a Game of Thrones, murdering and killing people, selectively choosing who is good and who is bad. We're just not going to do this anymore. We're going to do something different. That's where we need to go into the Star Trek economy. Like, that's where I think we need to go. Him holding the book for us to see brings tears to my eyes. Still, hashtag still Julian. Well, it was good, you know, Patricia, and I think that they were coming for him, and I think he knew that. I think he grabbed the right book and he made sure the cover was shown. I trust you. I would vote for you the first time in my life for you to run. Well, I'm glad that you do, Brother John, but you shouldn't. Don't trust me. Don't trust me. John, you're going to get me killed. I've tried, do not trust anybody. Don't do it. The minute that you trust me, I'm in trouble. I'm trying to tell you, don't do that. The minute you say, we're going to vote for Gerard, we trust him. Them psychopaths who are watching right now, there's a couple of them watching right now, like, oh, they trust him. Oh, they trust him. They start sharpening their knives and getting their guns and getting their money, doing something that I can't resist because they know me, because they got all my information, they download it. That the minute that you trust me and you think I'll be a good Bernie, I'm dead. No, don't trust me. Do not trust me at all. The only way I stay safe is y'all don't trust me. That's how I stay safe. The only way I stay safe is y'all walk away from this. We don't need any leaders, you know, because somebody comes to me, yeah, we think the world will trust you. No, they won't. John was lying, Deep State. He's just playing. He's kidding. He was just kidding. No, nobody take that serious. I ain't running. Nothing you can do to get me running. Kill me before I run. I don't want to tell nobody what to do. Yeah, he looks so feeble. I know, Kate, and it kind of hurts. It's sad to see. It's sad to see. You know what it reminds me of, Kate? It reminds me of Brother McGovern when they tackled him. He's 70-some years old. They tackled him and dragged him out of that hearing for Bloody Gina. Gotta pull up. Gotta pull up. We can't be doing this to each other. I'm so disgusted with the system, and it literally makes me sick to my stomach, even more so today. It does, Ivana, but think on the positive side. It's always darkest before the dawn, people. It's always darkest before the dawn. Good things are coming. I'm physically sick today. Yes, feeling this hard. Y'all don't feel so bad. Don't feel so bad. Ivana said, "Is that Bernie?" You know, Ivana, trust me. I trust me. You will not find Julian Assange reading a book authored by Bernie, or Trump, or Obama, or any of them. Those are guys that people believe in, and you know, you have to trust our family. They believe in them to a degree, I guess. I mean, that's what the decisions they make. But the reality is, the great men of our day, they're the ones who died poor. Great men of every day, they're the ones dragged out by the police. The great men of the day are never presidents. They are never politicians. They're always the Nikola Teslas that died poor because they refused to sell out. Those are the great men of our day. But a lot of people think that, you know, you can be great in a great position. I don't know. That's not how I work. To me, what's great is when people leave you alone. That's great. That's a leader. A leader looks at who you are and tries to facilitate an environment that helps you to do better with who you are, not tell you what to do. Damn sure somebody to take money from the military-industrial complex and join the oligarchy. So yeah, that was not Bernie on the book. Read it side to side with Howard Zinn's A People History. Tell me about it, Allison. Tell me about it. Vidal Buckley's debate on the firing line. Okay, that might be one of my first hits as soon as I hang up, Kate, because I got to get going. Look at the famous exchange between Gore Vidal and William F. Buckley. Okay. Totally lost his crap and threatened Vidal. Stop playing. Seriously, Patricia? Damn it, y'all might give me the clip now. I got to go, but you might. Really? He threatened? He got to him like that? He got some outrage out of him? Hold on. All right, that's the last little online research I'll do, but now you got me interested. Maybe if I find some clips. Is there any particular area in the debate? Gore Vidal. Oh, wow. As soon as I pressed it, it came up. William F. Buckley. How come y'all didn't tell me about this? It came right up on YouTube. Why don't y'all tell me about this? Y'all don't tell me that. How come y'all don't tell me nothing? Don't tell people nothing no more. Which one do I click on? Let me see which one has the most views. 408,000. I guess it's that one. No. Born at 8,000. This is the best quality. This is the one y'all talking about?
Let's talk about inventions for a minute. Sure, the light bulb's a great invention if you like seeing in the dark.
I don't want to talk about inventions because the Energy Office, the Patent Office of the United States has 5,000 patents related to energy that they won't release. 4,000 patents, however many it is. Now, I don't want to talk about patents because y'all lie too much about patents.
Two guest commentators, William Buckley and Gore Vidal, and to ask them what observations they've made about the security that we have seen all week at this convention and the events tonight on the streets beyond this convention hall. Who is first? Mr. Vidal first.
I think there's very little that we can say after those pictures that would be in any way adequate. It's like living under a Soviet regime here. The guards, the soldiers, the agents provocateur on the parts of the police. You've seen the roughing up. The background of it is that they came here for a rally on the 25th of August at Convention Soldier Field, a Coalition for an Open Convention. They were denied the use of the field. It was a friendly, a nonviolent demonstration. As a rule, the press is on the side of the police, but this time the police have seriously injured some 21 newsmen, and the press has, of course, reacted. And on top of that, television is duly upset with Mayor Daley for other reasons. I'd just like to point out that picking up a newspaper at random on my way here, the Chicago Daily News, there's a columnist called Mike Royko, who says Thomas E. Foran, the U.S. attorney, says Chicago police have shown, quote, wonderful discipline in their handling of the Lincoln Park demonstrators. Foran is either stupid or a liar, or maybe he's been wandering around in the wrong park. Chicago's police, for his information, have been beating innocent people with, to coin a phrase, reckless abandon. And he goes on to say that the biggest threat to law and order in the last week has been the Chicago Police Department. On an inside page here, we have one of the grisliest pictures I've seen in some time. It shows a group of police standing and laughing as they have thrown into the water a young man on a bicycle. And the caption is, the witnesses said the police then just stood back and laughed. The youth reportedly had just been riding through the park. He had not even been part of the hippie gathering.
I wonder if we can let Mr. Buckley comment now for a short while.
The distinctions to be made, Mr. Smith, are these. Number one, do we have enough evidence to indict a large number of individual Chicago policemen? It would seem from what Mr. Burns showed us that we do. However, the effort here, not only on your program tonight, but during the past 2 or 3 days in Chicago, has been to institutionalize this complaint so as to march forward and say that, in effect, we have got a police state going here. We've got a sort of a fascist situation. One young man approached me last night and said, are you aware that Mayor Daley is a fascist? To which my reply was no, and if that is the case, why didn't John Kennedy and Bobby Kennedy, whose favorite mayor he was, indict him as such and teach us that we should all despise him as a fascist? The point is that policemen violate their obligations just the way politicians do. If we could all work up an equal sweat, and if you all would be obliging enough to have your cameras handy, every time a politician commits demagogy or passes along a graft for bribes, or every time a businessman cheats on his taxes, or every time a labor union beats up people who refuse to join his unions, then maybe we could work up some kind of impartiality and resentment. As of this moment, I say, go after those cops who are guilty of unnecessary brutality. Develop your doctrine of security sufficiently so that when you don't have as many cops as you should have had, for instance, in Dallas in November of 1963, you don't go and criticize the FBI for not having been there, for not having taken sufficient security measures. But don't do what's happening here in Chicago tonight, which is to infer from individual and despicable acts of violence a case for implicit totalitarianism in the American system.
Mr. Vidal.
I should say that the issue was, of course, go after the bad cops. There are good cops as well as bad. But there is a more important issue here, a constitutional issue, and this is going to be repeated across the country. We have the right, according to our Constitution, of freedom of assembly. And if you want to hold a meeting for a peaceful purpose to demonstrate, you have that right. Yes. That right was abrogated by Mayor Daley, by his administration, by the Cook County Sheriff Joseph Woods. These people came here with no desire other that anybody's ever been able to prove than to hold peaceful demonstrations.
I can prove it.
How can you prove it?
Very easily, by citing the recorded words of Mr. Hayden of the SDS, of Mr. Rennie Davis of the Coordinating Committee, whose object has been to, quote, break down the false and deceptive institutions of bourgeois democracy sufficient to set in a revolutionary order. Anybody who believes that these characters are interested in the democratic process is deluding himself. I was 14 windows above that gang last night. These sweet little girls with their sun-decked dresses that we heard described a moment ago, and the chant between 11 o'clock and 5 o'clock in this morning from 4,000 or 5,000 voices was sheer utter obscenities directed at the President of the United States, at the mayor of this city, plus also the intermittent refrain, quotes, ho, 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 Ho Chi Minh, the NLF is sure to win. This is their way of accosting American society concerning their brothers, their sisters, their uncles, their fathers who are being shot at by an enemy to which, wrongly or rightly, nevertheless, we are fighting. I say it is remarkable that there was as much restraint shown as was shown, for instance, last night by cops who were out there for 17 hours without inflicting...
Okay, good stuff. Ooh, yeah, I like them already. I like Vidal already. Bottom line is this. Bigger issue, Constitution, Bill of Rights. Absolutely agree, positively. I don't like William F. Buckley at all. He just looks like he's lying, he's indoctrinated. He sounds like most people around here. The reality simply is this, is that if you are in another country and you show up with guns and tanks and bombs and airplanes, other people tend not to like that sort of stuff. They tend to want to fight back. They tend to want to keep their farms and grow their crops and not have you murder them and their children. So absolutely, and this is the whole point of free speech. The whole point is so people can actually stand up and say something. The whole point is that they can stand out and voice their opinions. Yes, they should be able to get their hey-ho, gotta go, outrage, yell at the president. Yeah, you know, I watched the whole thing. I posted a link so y'all can watch it, but I gotta get out of here. Bottom line is that when you actually have a free country, when you have freedom of speech, when you have people who are freely allowed to talk, and like Brother Kelly just posted, talk about Agent Orange, talk about the things that are being killed, when you don't have a government that's trying to always censor you and burn a book and control your speech, then truthful things come out. Then you can say the things that matter. People can speak on what matters. Everything else is a controlled society. So absolutely, I agree already. I have to watch the whole thing, but I gotta get out of here. So y'all don't have to go home. Got to get the hell out of here. Looks like a good debate. But that's what I do. This is exactly what I've been saying. Stop fighting with the police. There's a bigger issue. Focus on the root cause problem. You keep cheering and voting for a police state, you're gonna have a police state. You keep cheering and voting for censorship, you're gonna get censored. It may not get you this time, but it'll damn sure get you later. So back on Assange. So yeah, I have to look at it. I'll definitely take a look at it. Him carrying the book, I think it's significant, quite significant. Didn't WikiLeaks say that if Julian gets arrested, they will release a lot of information, question mark. I thought I remember that, Ivana. I don't remember. That's classic. You know, you're fighting an enemy that's stronger than you, that's bigger than you, and you're fighting them with information, then you gotta have backup. You gotta have a plan B, and plan B is always not releasing everything. Your freedom in your life is based in what you don't release, and that's what's called the dead man switch. Is when they have this ability to say, if I don't reply to this message once a day that comes out to me from automated software, then documents get released. And I think this is a climax. This has been building up to a climax. And don't be too sad about it. You know, this is time for us to step up. Julian, who went in, he didn't say be sad for him. He didn't say cry for him. He didn't say feel bad for him. He said resist. Resist. Resist in the way you feel that you need to. But this is time for us to stand up. It's time to take that on. If the sight of taking this aging man who's obviously been oppressed and abused and kept in captivity for the past 10 years, if you feel sorry for him, then you need to go out and do some sharing. You need to go out and do some talking. You need to do some posting. You need to make some changes in your life. You really need to consider if you want the world to keep going this way and actually take some action. All right, let me see. Vidal, Buckley, epic. Yes. Well, you know, I never knew who he was. I knew he's an old dude. Is he still alive? Look kind of old. Video. I'm saying it looked like it was like made in the 1800s or something. I don't know. The video's kind of old, so I have to look at it. I'll post a link. Y'all can watch the rest of it. Thanks, Gerard. Appreciate you covering this topic. Thank you, Kate. I don't have a choice. I don't have a choice. He is the reason. You know, anybody who ever gets a platform and it's on anything anti-war or truth or freedom of speech, they all owe it to Julian Assange. All of them. All the journalists all owe it to Julian Assange. He's the one who actually started this whole, let's get back to reporting the truth. Let's get real information out there. You know, he was the one that kind of brought in a lot of us who were kind of like, pretty much were checking out of the system that, hey, wait a minute. There are human beings still left on this planet. There are actually people who give a damn about children being bombed by drones. There are people who are willing to risk their life and their freedom to do the right thing. And it activated people on every continent in all these major nations all over the world and began this anti-war movement. So everybody who has an alternative voice has no other choice. You need to say something about Assange. You need to speak up. So it really wasn't even my choice. I have to pay respect where respect is due, and he started this whole thing, and waking people up and getting us to realize that we're always being lied to, and we got to stop playing with liars. A government that lies to you is never on your side, ever. This is the minutia of the great debates between Vidal and Buckley. Check out Frenemies from the lifetime of intellectual debate. Truly worthy of your consideration. Thank you, Brother Kevin. I will have a look. Gerard, I don't think you like either Vidal or Buckley because they are intellectual defenders of the elite. Oh, really? They massively encourage us versus them. Oh, Vidal is a liberal and, Vidal Buckley is a liberal and, Vidal is liberal versus Buckley is conservative. Okay, I didn't know that. But you know what, Kevin? When I look back at stuff like this, I try to look at it from a different perspective in terms of, I think that they did and stood up probably for what they could, for what we knew at that time. And now we just happen to be in a different time. And while intellectual-wise and philosophical-wise, they could be hitting all the points of their day, and it's in our day we've uncovered new information, and now we know that the conservatives are played against the liberals, and so we're kind of in a different day. So I can still appreciate the debate of the day and not separate and getting lost in our particular challenges of today. Our particular challenges of our conservatives stop reading their Bibles, and our liberals, they don't like liberty at all. So I look at things from a historical perspective as well as, again, from a non-identity perspective and even from a time perspective. Just look at it and try to pull out the truth we can for today. So I'll watch the debate and I'll let you know what I think. Oh, that's not the right one, though? Okay, that's not the right one, Patricia said. Okay, Patricia, send me the right one. So I guess they must have had a couple of them. All right, let me see. The third generation of Vietnamese are being born with horrific defects from the chemical warfare unleashed by the U.S. via Agent Orange. Thank you, Brother Kelly, and that's very true, and there are a lot of good sites out there that kind of explain that. Children are still being born today. And this is why the Assanges are so important, the people telling the truth. War is always evil. It's still evil now. It was evil in the past. It was wrong in the past. It's wrong today. It's going to be wrong tomorrow. Anybody supports that has a real problem with sentience and humanitarian, and they're using their not in war privilege to allow their politicians and their systems and government to go murder other people. War is always bad, and it still is bad. And that's real talk. That's real talk. You have American soldiers, ex-American soldiers who are over in Vietnam right now trying to help the people they sprayed on because they had no idea. They were like the guy on the helicopter video. They had no idea. You know, they had the patriotism and they thought they were standing up for the right thing. They thought they were fighting for good. Come to find out they were lied to. They grew up. And once they grew up, they took on that maturity. They took on the ethics, the sentience, the morals, and they took on things that were greater than themselves, and they went back to Vietnam to help them people. Like, think about that. Think about how much love that is, and think about how powerful that is, that you could actually kill a bunch of people and return to try to help their children. You know, that's bending the knee. In a way that's bending the knee. It's admitting your mistakes, that you were a young, dumb kid and you were under 26 and you didn't have a frontal lobe and you were lied to by your government to go murder other poor people who were just trying to live their own lives and didn't want to work as slaves on a rubber plantation for the French. That it was all about rubber tires, Michelin, auto industry, and colonization. And you admit that you were wrong in the future and you go back and you try to heal some of the damage you did. That to me is called growing up. It's a powerful thing. Love those brothers. Powerful, powerful thing. Whew. All right, we're good. I gotta get out of here. Let me see. I wonder if any of the current Dems presidential candidates will condemn Julian's arrest. No, I don't think so, Yvonne. And if they do, it's going to be fantasy. If they do, it's going to be faux. Same with the Republicans. If they do, it's going to be faux. It's going to be something to get us to think that they actually care, and they don't. They're the ones who are murdering the people. They're the ones taking the money. They're the ones, but they're the war criminals Julian was posting the truth about. They're the ones that the whistleblowers who work for them in their bureaucracy, deep state intelligence organization are actually sending the information to Assange. They are the criminals. But they do their crime because we're okay with their crime and we vote for their crimes. Don't kill the messenger. Nobody's perfect. Nope, Allison, and nobody will ever be perfect. Vidal was from the elite class, as well as William Buckley. Okay, that makes sense, Mary. So I think they're going to have their elite spin to it. I'm not going to get lost in that. Like I said, I understand Donald Trump. I know what it's like. I grew up around very wealthy people. So I know what it's like. And it's just like they're going to become who they're supposed to become, like I became who I was supposed to become. Liberals and conservatives is that the day is so far liberals and conservatives, and that day is so far different. They're both the same from a different extreme. Yep, and that's what I mean, Kate. It's like it's a different time, and we have to process that. My brother's a victim of Agent Orange. His case was proven. I'm sorry to hear that, Kate. And yeah, it's the people who dropped it and the people who were hit by it were all affected by it. The corporations made that money, didn't they? The politicians got their careers. They got their payoffs and their bribes. You know, and let me see, did Manning fold, or is that why Assange was arrested? Ooh, that's a good question, Ivana. That's a good question. I suppose we'll realize that as the day plays out. So let's get through the day. Focus on what is good, and let's keep pushing in the right direction. Tulsi Gabbard, she showed support before. I hear you, Maria. I don't believe Tulsi. I don't believe anybody though, so I'll leave that where that is. I think somebody posted something that showed how Tulsi kind of picks and chooses the war she likes. And so I think that's where I first heard about her. She was anti-Syrian war, but she was pro some other war. So I can't do that. Like I'm done picking and choosing. You know, there's people who are killing people who aren't. Thank you for your kind comments, Miss T. Love and Light. Y'all working together. That's good to hear. Let me see. I was gaslit. I used to think Assange was a traitor. I'm grateful to be awake at last. And that Kevin, that's exactly what I mean. That's exactly what I mean. That's how you know you're around the right people, because you're around the right people because they say they're wrong. They can admit, you know what? I was led astray. These are powerful media systems. And Brother Kevin's smart as hell. That brother, that's a deep brother. Anybody can be led astray. You know, being led astray isn't the crime. Being lied to is not a crime. You say gaslit, I don't think I guess it's gaslighting to a degree. That's not the crime. The crime is when you see the death, the killing, the murder, the rape, the destruction, and you keep voting for it. You keep cheering for it. You keep supporting it, however you want to put that. However, whatever that is to you, that's the crime. The crime is not evolving. The crime is not recognizing the problem and agreeing to keep it. That's what we need to be. So that's what today looks like. Listen, this is Gerard. I gotta go. Love y'all to death. I don't think we got a last comment. Nobody got anything deep to send us out on. Buckley is going to use Assange as an example as to what happens when you reveal secrets of the rulers. We're going to leave on Mary. That's it, and that's the whole point, Mary. Doesn't matter if he's CIA, doesn't matter if he's FBI, doesn't matter if it's a skit, show, a play, part 1, soliloquy, chapter 2. None of that matters. The only thing that matters is that he is going to play out in a way that's going to get people, journalists who know truthful things, and whistleblowers who want to release information won't do it because now they're scared of these killers. And so our position should be very clear. Our position should be that we need to support the truth, no secrets. All right, I gotta go. Y'all have a great day. Love y'all to death. I'm out of here.